Hello, viewers, listeners, and the student of LWE Part 1 and P3. Today, we shall discuss about the subject Contract Act with Special Relief Act 1963, in which we have done two important things. First was injunction and their kinds, and after that we have finished or done specific performance. Now today we shall discuss about the recovery of the possession of the property. As we know from earlier experience, at least there are two kinds of property regarding the special relief and contract also. And these properties are called immovable property and movable property. Now, in the Special Relief Act 1963, Section 527 deals with recovery of the possession of the property, whereas recovery of immovable property has been dealt in Section 527, whereas the recovery of immovable property is dealt in these sections, and Section 7 and 8 deals with recovery of movable property. Now, as we know about the possession, what is possession we know very well, but today we shall also discuss about the possession. As we know about the possession, as Sevangali has said in this regard, that right to possess a thing, right to have a control over a thing is called possession. But there is only actual possession and de facto possession. But Sevangali says no. Only de facto or actual possession is not sufficient in the eye of the law. There must be animus possidendi as well as physical possidendi or corpus possidendi, without which possession is not said to be complete. Means for a possession, these two elements must be there: possession, actual possession, and mental possession or psychological possession also. Now, as we know, possession is the prima facie evidence of ownership. It is also known by us. Next, by possession, we mean that there is continued de facto relation between a person and a thing. As we say, right to control a thing is nothing but de facto possession of the thing. So this is the relation between a person and a thing, and which is dealt in the special relief from Section 5 to 7. Now, the Section 5 deals with the immovable property and possession of immovable property. And so far as dispossession from the immovable property is also considered by the law, as well as dispossession of a movable property are also considered by the law. Both immovable property and movable property are again may be recovered by the person who has been disposed from the property illegally or wrongfully. And such recovery must be by the process of the CPC 1908. This is important ingredient, important process by which recovery of possession is done by the possession. Now, in section 5, we shall see that the law is in action when a person has been disposed from his possession, but a person who is disposed must have to show that before disposition he was in possession. This is the vital thing which is dealt in the section 5. Recently, the Calcutta High Court has also supported this principle and held in Ramesh Chandra Query versus Chandan Query and others, AIR 2018, Calcutta 34, in which it has held that if the plaintiff failed to prove his prior possession at the time of disposition, he is not entitled to recover possession of suit property. Now, question arises that who is entitled to recover the possession? Section 5 says that the person who has a right or as well as title to possession or possessory title or nothing else. That means if a wrongful person, if a trespasser, temporary or permanently from many years, he has been in a possession, though he is wrongful in possession. But if he is dispossessed without his consent or wrongfully, then also he must be given possession because he has rightfully possession over the property. In this regard, this is very vital. Now, if a person does not have a right to possession, but he is in possession from many times or from many years, and so he is regarded as settled possession and he cannot be summarily dispossessed. So, a settled possession creates such a right that even the rightful owner may recover only by taking recourse of the court of law. A trespasser who is settled in possession can regain his possession from any person. It means that the dispossessed person must show before the court of law that before the dispossession he was in possession, and he was in possession, so he has possessory right. And so, a rightful owner or person cannot dispossess him summarily and without the consent and without the recourse of the law. In this way, Section 5 is dealt with the thing that if a person has right, if person has title to hold the property or immovable property, then he can be dispossessed only when there is a consent or by the course of the law. In this way, this is the whole thing in the Section 5. The essence of this section is that whoever proves a better title is a person entitled to possession. This section deals with action for recovering a possession of a specific movable property based on title. The essence of the section is that whoever proves a better title, he is person entitled to possession. The title may be on the basis of ownership or possession. Let us suppose, as for example, A enters into peaceful possession of land, claiming it as his own, although he might have no title to it. Still, he can sue another who has title, has at least a possessory title, forcibly ousted from his possession, and who has no better title to it, because A, although he has no legal title, has at least a possessory title. This is the all about your Section 5. Now, concludingly, we can say that Section 5 simply says about the recovery of a movable property when there is a dispossession. Now, Section 6 deals also recovery of the movable property when dispossession is there, is made by bringing a suit. That means Section 6 deals with the proceeding of the suit by which a recovery of possession is made. If any person is dispossessed without his consent of immovable property, otherwise than in the due course of law, he or any person claiming through him may recover the possession thereof. But no suit under this section shall be brought if the expiry of the 6 months from the date of dispossession was done. No suit is live against the government. No appeal shall lie from any order or decree, and nothing in this section shall bar any person from bringing suit to establish his title for the suit property. Object of this section 6 is that if a person wrongfully gets the possession of the property or movable property, then he must be discouraged so that wrongful action in future must not be taken by him again. This is to be noted that to provide a summary, cheap and useful remedy to a person dispossessed of the immovable property. Now, the section 5 and section 6 differs, as section 5 says that a person dispossessed can get possession on the basis of title, whereas section 6, the dispossessed person may recover possession merely by proving previous possession and subsequent wrongful dispossession, as I have earlier said. In this way, we can easily say that section 6 says the procedure taken by the person for recovery of the possession. Now, section 7 deals with the recovery of the possession of movable property. Here, the process is the same, that a person entitled to the possession of the excessive movable property may recover it in manner provided by CPC 1908. Now, this section has two explanations with it. Explanation 1 says that a trustee may sue under this section for the possession of a movable property to the beneficial interest in which the person for whom he is trustee is entitled. Explanation 2 says that a special or temporary right to the possession of movable property is sufficient to support a suit in this section. Now, the main ingredients of this section 7 is that a person must have right to the person present possession, either temporary or permanent. Next is he must be owner of the goods, or he must be finder of the goods, or there is a question of bailment, or there is a question of pawn. The meaning of pawn is girvi. Whenever a person takes the goods as a security and gives money to the person who has given some valuable goods to him to keep in lieu of the security under which the money is paid. Then, after repayment of the money with interest to the pawnee, the pawner is entitled to have the possession of a thing. If, in case, pawnee is not agreed to return the goods to the owner, then the owner has a right to sue against the pawnee. In this way, we can say that possession of the goods must be done by the pawnee, since he has taken the money or from the pawner. So it is liability of the pawnee to return the goods. And if the pawnee says that no, goods has been lost, or he can only give him compensation, then in this regard there is no question of compensation, since the goods which is said to be lost is a good which is not temporarily available in the market, and pawnee is liable to return the same goods as he was taken in the possession. In this way, the either finder of goods or pawnee or bailment, it is the duty of the pawnee or bailee or finder of goods that he must return the same to the original owner, so that there must not be any litigation remain to him. This is all about your special relief for the recovery of the property, either movable or immovable. Thank you.